enjoy the part where the youth talk about what's wrong, what they'd like to see, because it really is about them and what vision they see. You know, when they talk about more trees, more parks, more open spaces, a cleaner and safer city. And it is really important because as part of this process, we're going to get the youth involved, and I'll talk a little bit about that. What I also like about this is that this process really isn't about the planning department. This process is really about your views, your values, your vision for the city of Cincinnati, what you like about the city of Cincinnati, what you'd like to see improved and changed. In the video, it talked about these 11 elements. It talked about neighborhoods and housing. And so we'll be talking about and having a conversation about how we can include everybody in terms of being housed. What makes our neighborhoods great? How do we want to strengthen our neighborhoods? We talk about transit and transportation. There's a conversation now about light rail, streetcar. And if you've gone to other cities across the country, Washington, D.C. is, I think, the poster child. If you've been there and you've taken the metro, you can go on the red line and connect to the green line and connect to the yellow line and the orange line and be all over the region. Why can't we do that here? When we talk about historic preservation, Cincinnati has one of the largest historic districts in this country, over the Rhine. And we really need to preserve that. It's part of our history. It's part of our heritage. We have some great landmarks, and we need to make sure that those are preserved for the next generation. Economic development is really the engine for cities. And we're really fortunate that we have a lot of Fortune 500 companies in this region. Most cities don't. But they were founded as a Fortune 500 company. They were founded as a small business. And so we really need to think about how do we grow businesses here? How do we make that opportunity happen? We have some commercial areas that are doing really well, and we have some commercial areas that are really struggling. So we have to figure out, what do we do with those commercial areas? One of the new things that we're starting to hear about is health, open space, and the environment. And it's really something a little bit different because the comprehensive plan really focuses in on the physical aspect. And so when you talk about health, then how do you translate that? Well, if you have a walkable city, if you have a city where you can go and walk to commercial areas, where you can walk to a park, where you can walk to your church, that makes Cincinnati a walkable city, and it makes it a healthy city. And we're all talking about making green cities. And what does that mean? And so there are a lot of attributes that we want to talk about. One of the things we need to think about is how large of a population do we plan for? Cincinnati was almost busting out at almost 1 million people during its heyday, almost. But it's now down to 350,000 people, more or less. But we need to make sure that we have an accurate count. So I'm going to put in my plug for the census. I'm going to wrap that around, and so you have in your packet, you have a magnet that you're going to put on your refrigerator, and you're going to know 4110 because every person counts. So the point is, are we planning for a city of 100,000, or are we planning for a city of 500,000? And if we're planning for a city of 100,000, that means we have a whole lot of vacant buildings that we need to figure out. If we're planning for a city that's growing, we need to figure out how we preserve those buildings and how we entice people to come and live into the city. I met Mel Martin. Mel said he was moving back into the city. And I don't know where he lives now, but I was pretty glad to hear him talk about moving back into the city. And so we have a lot of people who are going to be moving back into the city. Just think about the number of students we have who live in the city, who go to colleges, Xavier, UC, and then they're thinking about, okay, where am I going to live? How am I going to get employed once I get out of school? As the city manager said, we want them to think about Cincinnati being that place for them to live and make a name for themselves and to contribute. So that's what this is really all about. So how do we do this? Well, we have started this process. We have a little bit of money from City Council, your tax dollars, and we're going to use it wisely. And what we have done is we started out in September and October. We had 4 area-wide meetings to talk about what is a comprehensive plan. We showed the video, and we broke into small groups like these tables, and we asked a series of questions. And one of the questions, and I'm going to come back at the end and ask you the same question: what makes a great city? And what we can do in Cincinnati to make it great? And what is that one thing that you would like to see in the city of Cincinnati to make it be a great city? So we had these 4 meetings, and we got input. We had over 500 people come to these meetings. We had them in 4 different parts of the city. Hopefully you've attended one of those. And so the next step is to have our neighborhood summit. And I really, really need your help. I need your help in getting the word out. I need your help in talking to your neighbors, talking to anybody that you can. Whenever there's an elevator conversation, say, you know, there's this big meeting coming up, February 26th and 27th. The 26th is a Friday, the 27th is a Saturday. We just need 3 or 4 hours of your time to really contribute and give us your ideas. And this is really going to be exciting. I'm really pumped up about this. Maybe I'm just pumped up about it because it's what I do. But you'll be able to vote, and you'll be able to electronically say, I like this idea, I think this is the number 1 idea, I think this is the second, I think this is the third. And you'll be able to go to the transportation and transit breakout session, and there will be a series of questions there. And you'll be given a handheld electronic voting device. It's just like if you have, cable TV and you use your remote. It's just that easy. 1, 2, 3, or 4. And then we'll go to the next series of questions. But it's instant feedback in terms of what people in the room are saying, and it's instant feedback in terms of your ideas and contributing your ideas. So we'll have a breakout session on transportation and transit. We'll have a breakout session on housing and neighborhoods, one on urban design, historic preservation. We'll also have one on health, the environment, and open space. And so you'll be able, if you went to the housing and neighborhoods, and there are actually 3 different sessions. And so you can go to the transportation and transit in the first session. You can go to the housing and neighborhoods, and then you can go to the historic preservation and give us your input. That's really what we're about. So, February 26th and 27th. 26th is Friday night. We will have, there'll be a dinner. It'll cost $25. We'll have actually a couple of speakers on Friday and Saturday. One is going to be the former mayor of Washington, D.C., Anthony Williams, and former planning director, who will talk about the process that we went through in Washington, D.C. It's a different animal. It's unique.